little more nervous about having it go on the inside of my arm, but it didn't go as far in as I thought it was going to, so it really didn't hurt that bad. And it was on the lower end of the pricing scale because it is smaller than my other tattoos. The smaller it is, the less it's probably going to be. My most recent piece de resistance, my favorite one right now, is this beautiful, lovely, long, large Ariel tattoo, and we have a hidden Mickey over here in the bubbles. I got her because she is my favorite Disney princess, and ever since I started thinking about getting tattooed, I've always really wanted a tattoo of a mermaid, and it's Disney, like it just fits so well together, and I wanted her tail, so it's big. This one took, to be honest, it felt like it took 6 hours, but it really only took like 3 hours and 30 minutes, maybe, because like I said, the artist works very fast, so it didn't really take that long. But this is my most painful tattoo because it goes in like this little elbow ditch right here, so like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's in a very active part of your body, and the skin is kind of tough right there. I wasn't expecting it to be as painful as it was, and I felt really bad for the artist because I was kind of being a wuss. So I would probably rate that like a 7 or an 8. I mean, it was pretty painful. It was not pleasant the entire time. Like, I try to be excited and positive throughout the tattooing experience to make it better for the artist, but I mean, that kind of sucked. Like, it sucks. At some point, it just hurts. Like, it hurts so bad. But this one is my most expensive tattoo because of the detail, the size, the color. There's a lot that goes into it. I mean, it is art, and you should pay for it appropriately. I mean, it's something you're gonna have forever, but the artist also takes their time to draw it for you and personalize it, and it's just respectful to respect their price that they put on their piece of artwork that you get to wear. Thank you all for watching. If you have any great Disney tattoos you want me to see, please leave them in the comments below. And also leave some tattoo suggestions. I am in the market for a new one soon, and who knows, maybe your idea will end up on my skin forever. Please make sure to subscribe, thumbs up, leave all your comments, and I look forward to seeing everyone again soon. Bye!
Hey guys, really quick before the video starts, I want to show you guys something that I'm sure you've seen a lot of YouTubers talking about, and that is the super fun mobile app called Best Fiends. I've actually talked about it before in another video, but I've been playing it a lot since I've been in the studio and I've had nothing to do, and it's super addicting. Best Fiends is a puzzle game where you connect 3 or more of the same color to defeat the bad guys in the game. It's called the Slugs. I've been playing this so much that I'm actually on level 60, and I have 5 of my own monsters right now. I love this game a lot, and I'm super excited about it, so you guys should check the link below to try Best Fiends for free. Thank you guys so much for watching and clicking the link below, and thank you so much to Best Fiends for sponsoring this video. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Hey there, I'm Shannon, and today I am going to be doing a video that so many of you guys have asked for me to do for the past, like, year or so, and I've just been putting it off, but I think it is finally time to do the tattoo tag. So basically right now I'm sort of on like a hiatus from getting tattoos because I'm traveling and my tattoo artist is also traveling, so I can't get any new ones. So I figured right now is the perfect time to tell you about all the ones that I currently have on my body. So I'm just going to go through start to finish, I think from the one that I first got to the one that I've most recently gotten, and I'm going to be telling you guys stories behind them, their meanings, the pain level, all of that good stuff about all of them. So my very first tattoo I got when I had just barely turned 18. I think it was like 2 weeks after I turned 18 and could finally go get tattoos. And this was one that I had been planning for seriously like forever. As you can see, it is 2 really giant sunflowers with a banner that wraps around them, and on the banner it says, "Stick flowers in my wounds, grow a garden in my side." This one for me personally has a story that's almost too personal for me to tell, and it's one like I haven't even told my family what it really means to me. I haven't told my closest friends. I don't even know, like Tyler knows, and that's about it. So this one I'm not gonna go like super into detail, but I can tell you the gist of what it means to me. The quote in this tattoo is actually from like a super weird indie song by a band called Eagle Seagull, and the song is called "You're the Reason Why I'm Afraid to Die." And this quote to me kind of personally means that no matter how bad a situation can get or how bad your life feels, which at the time that I got this tattoo, or rather the time that I planned this tattoo, like every day pretty much felt like the worst day of my entire life. waking up was something I didn't want to do in the morning, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. But when I say this was the worst time period in my life, I mean like literally I cried every day. I had no will to live, and it's kind of weird to say that now because I don't feel that way anymore, but even in all of that, I found sort of a passion to do what I love, and I found a passion in the people that were around me, the people who made me afraid to die, just like this song's called. But yeah, I would listen to this song, and it would really remind me of all the people who made my life worth living, and all the things that I could do that I really enjoyed that made my life a little less miserable, and it helped me get through, like, one of the hardest times in my life. So I decided to immortalize that on my body forever, and I did. And I put it on top of sunflowers because I don't know if you guys know this, but, well, I love plants, first of all. I have a weird, like, plant fetish. That's the thing. not really. I don't have a real fetish. I love plants. I fucking love plants. And sunflowers always grow to face towards the sun. So I figured, what is a more fitting flower than a sunflower, because it matches the quote perfectly, and they're beautiful, and I just love them. Everything about them. My sunflower tattoo took literally 9 hours, and I did it all in one session, just like I've done for all of my tattoos. Took 9 or 10 hours straight, no stopping except for like one break. I would still only say it was about a 6 out of 10 on the pain scale, not too bad. So moving on to my second tattoo, I actually honestly can't remember what my second tattoo was, but I'm pretty sure it was my forearms. These sort of coincide with like the meaning and the story of my first tattoo. The meaning of these tattoos is something that I've sort of touched on in other videos, but I haven't really talked about it much, and I probably won't talk about it too much. I was actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder after being misdiagnosed with depression, major depression, for the longest time, and it was super hard news to cope with and a super hard thing to deal with, and to this day it still is something really shitty that sucks because I have the worst mood swings, and these mood swings make me feel like out of control sometimes. I go from being irrationally happy to super angry to unbelievably depressed in a matter of hours, sometimes days, sometimes weeks. But anyways, that's besides the point. These anchors sort of represent that. It's really hard to show you when I'm sitting down if I'm not doing this, but as you can see, these two are like, one is the polar opposite of the other, which is like, you know, bipolar disorder. And these anchors sort of represent to stay anchored no matter which side of the spectrum I'm on in terms of my mood. So if I'm in a really shitty mood, it looks like this one. This one's like rusty and like ratchet and old and crusty. And this one is like super cute and like new school and super colorful and happy. And regardless of whether if I'm like off the wall excited or if I'm down in the dumps like can't go on any more depressed, I need to stay anchored and find that middle ground and keep moving on with my life. And that is why I really love these. These only took like 2 or 3 hours. I did them both in the same session. I just sat through it, and they were actually surprisingly worse than my thigh because they vibrated like all of my finger bones. I could feel them like through my wrist, just like shaking violently every time the needle hit my skin. So I would say this was about a 7 out of 10. Still not that bad. Moving on to my third one. I think the third one, I'm pretty sure the third one was my chest. My chest piece says, "We shall not be moved." And I left spaces on my shoulders because I'm probably going to continue them, not like the words or anything, but I'm probably going to put some stuff here like as a continuation, maybe birds or something. I don't really know. I haven't figured it out yet, which is why nothing's there. It says "We shall not be moved" and is actually a part of a song called "Stand Up" by the Flowbots. I'm sure most of you guys don't know who they are. You probably actually do and you don't even realize it. They did the song that was like, "I can ride my bike with no handlebars." That song. One day I was driving and I was having a really like stupid, like annoying day. One of those days where everything just is irritating and like irks you. And I think it was because of stuff going on the internet, honestly. And as a YouTuber, I am exposed to all of the best kinds of people in the world, but I am also exposed on a large scale to all of the worst people on this planet. And I was driving in my car, I was pretty pissed off about whatever was said to me. It was something like really like that was meant to hurt me on a deep level, and I was really letting it get to me, which I usually don't. And this song came on, and pretty much my interpretation, how I applied it to my own life, was to not let any of these little stupid, you know, insignificant people and comments move me. The things that should move me are the positive things and working towards the positive things and focusing on those and putting all my energy into spreading love and internalizing the love back. This tattoo literally took like 45 minutes because it's just line work, and contrary to what you might think, this was literally my least painful tattoo. It was a 2 out of 10 on the pain scale probably. My next tattoo I'm actually going to talk about really briefly because I've actually already made a video about it. It is the one on my thigh. This one is actually a drawing that one of you guys drew for me, and it was just given to me at the perfect time in my life, and it was just what I was looking for. And if you want to hear the rest of that story, I will leave a link right on my face to that video, but I'm just going to skip over it since this video is probably already really long. That being said, this tattoo took like 5 hours because it was black and white. It took a little less time than the other thigh, but it was excruciating. Again, it was probably because I had actually driven from North Carolina to Florida that night, like through the night from like midnight to 6 in the morning, and as soon as I got home, I like sat down for a couple minutes and then walked out the door to get a tattoo. Didn't eat, didn't drink, didn't sleep, nothing. Like, I was not prepared again, and this one was just agonizing. I would give this one probably a 9 out of 10 just because I was an idiot and didn't do anything right. Otherwise, it probably would have been like a 5 out of 10, but because of my stupidity, it was up there in the 9s. And finally, for my last 2 tattoos, I got my stomach done like really recently, like about a month ago at most, maybe 3 weeks ago. But yeah, I got my stomach tattooed, and I will show you that right now. So my 2 stomach tattoos, I consider one like package deal type thing, and they are bonsai trees. So these bonsai trees to me are sort of just a representation of my family as a whole. But in specific, my grandpa, who I call my pops, is actually like huge into bonsai trees, and he has like 3,000 in his backyard. Like, no exaggeration, like he has 3,000 bonsai. And these things are like his life. Like, he wakes up at like 4 in the morning and he goes out and he trims all of the roots and he trims all the trees, like the little stems and whatever. I would go and I would help him take care of them and like bring them to him so he could work on them. And I helped him trim the roots, and I would help him repot and all that good stuff that has to do with bonsai, because it was just too hard for him to take care of 3,000 bonsai tree by himself. And actually, even before I did this, my first ever job, which is my only ever job besides YouTube, which is kind of sad, I worked at a farmer's market selling these bonsai trees with him. And not only did I sell them, he made me learn everything about them, which I sort of forgotten a bit of the information because there's so much to internalize. And the ones that I have on my stomach just happen to be my favorite. One is more of a masculine tree, which is the one on the right, which is a jade, and that one represents my pops. And the other one is more of a feminine tree, and the other one is sort of more of a feminine tree, which is called a desert rose, and that one is representative of my nana, who's my grandma. For the past year, I say I've been away from the house like 8 months out of the year, at the studio, on tour, whatever, and it's crazy. And I have grown up almost my entire life from when I was like 8 years old until I was 18 years old, living really close to my entire side of my dad's family, and I would see them like every Sunday, once a week, twice a week, like all the time, and I miss them so bad now that I'm not there. And it's crazy being away from them, and I feel like I need a reminder of where I came from and who grew me, if you will, like a bonsai tree. It's a way for me to keep my family close, even if I'm not right there with them, and they just mean a lot to me, and I love them, and they came out beautiful, just like my family. These 2 took like all day. Honestly, I have no idea how long they took. I would say these were like another 10-hour experience type thing, and these were by far the worst tattoo I've ever gotten. 10 hours of probably like a 9.5 level pain. They were just in the worst spot, and when it would get up to my ribs, it would feel like my whole chest and like all my internal organs were vibrating. Like, I could feel like my liver just like trying to jump out of where it's supposed to be. It was horrible. I would not recommend getting rib or stomach or anything right here in your lower abdomen tattooed, because it was not fun at all. But yeah, that is it for my tattoo tag video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about them. I really enjoyed talking about them, and I don't think I forgot any. Anyways, I am planning on getting a significant amount more, so look for another installment in like 6 months to a year when I can get a decent amount more to tell you about. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Stay pretty, kitties. I love you guys so much, and I will see you soon. Bye!
in my tattoo tour that I would film a video just for the black arm because I get so many questions on it, and this is it. This is for you. I put out on my Snapchat and my Instagram for you guys to send me your questions regarding the black arm, and I got so many questions. I've written them all down here and I'm going to answer them all for you right now. I can't mention everyone's name with the question because some questions were asked like 6 or 7 times, and people's usernames and internet handles are sometimes very tricky, and there's lots of letters and numbers and underscores, and I just like, we're not going to do that. So if you hear your question being answered, just know that it's for you and because of you. So thank you very much for everyone that sent me questions. So I'm just going to get stuck in straight away and start answering. So the first question I definitely get asked a lot of, and a lot of you guys ask this, is this a cover-up? Yep. This is a cover-up of some of my very first tattoos I ever got. My first visible tattoos, the first like body part I started to cover. And everyone wants to know what was under there and why did I cover it. So what was under there was, you can see these roses, and they've actually been reworked. These aren't the original roses, but there were roses here, there was script in here, there was a Virgin Mary holding a human heart here, there was like a crappy spider web here, there were swallows here with more scroll, and here I had like gravestone scene kind of down there. The style of work was kind of new school but in black and grey, which is one of the reasons that it didn't look very good, because those two kind of things don't go together so well. New school is often like quite colourful. If you don't know what new school tattoos are, you can just Google them. There's lots of information out there on new school. A lot of people wanted to know why did I cover it up, and okay, so I covered it up because it was some of my first tattoos I ever got, and as I mentioned in the tattoo tour, my taste for tattoos and my knowledge about tattoos and what looks good has really evolved. Like, I didn't really know what the hell I was doing when I first started getting tattooed. There was only BME, body modification e-sign, hey all my BME friends. So there was only that as a resource. There wasn't even, I think, MySpace when I first got on the internet and started discovering tattoos. And there definitely wasn't Instagram and hashtag tattoos and hashtag ink girls and stuff like that. Like, I had never seen like heavily tattooed people when I first started getting tattooed. So I was just kind of making it up as I went along. So the style of work wasn't really nice. The tattooist was my boyfriend, and like, he was like, maybe had potential to be a good tattoo artist, but he kind of like wasted that potential, and the work wasn't that good because he kind of rushed through it on me, and the style was, it just wasn't working, and I didn't really want to carry crappy work by a crappy person on me. And the thing that really tipped the scales to make me decide like I have to start fixing this or covering it or doing something was when I was living in Finland, and I started to get like a lot of other good quality tattoos over my body. And around the same time I started like performing and doing photo shoots and stuff, and I'd see pictures of myself with like quite nice tattoos kind of around, and then this like black and grey arm, and it wasn't like a cool black and grey with amazing shading. It kind of looked like messy grey outline, you know. It didn't look very nice. I think I've got a couple of pictures I can show you guys of the work. It's hard to see here how crap it looked. I'll try and find a picture of me kind of semi-naked so you can see some of the other good tattoos with this like crappy one. The work just wasn't really that good, and it started to look really, really out of place in comparison to the other good tattoos that I was getting, and I just was like, I'm gonna fix this. I need to make it look good to go with the rest of the body. A bunch of you asked why I didn't laser first and try to fix the old tattoo or cover up with another tattoo, which is funny to me because black is another tattoo. Full black work isn't just like a last resort, you've got no other option. It's actually a style. But the reason I didn't laser it, I mean, what was my thought process? I didn't want to spend like hundreds and thousands of euros and hours lasering a whole arm. Like, that just seemed pointless to me, and I knew pretty early on I wanted to just black out the whole arm. So like, what was the point? You know, I actually did start covering it up or reworking the work with Gala at Paradise, and we started on the top half, and we actually did a lot of work reworking the stuff that was underneath there. We fixed, like, the roses have been reworked, we put all this black shading in, we like covered up some of the messy behind like background parts that I had done over the years that looked really bad, and that was going very, very slow. And because I knew eventually I'm going to do it all black, I kind of was like, why am I wasting my time and having this really slow process of like fixing it when I'm going to black it out anyway? It's kind of a waste of my time and the tattoo artist's time who's putting in the work to do like new design when I just want it black. So I just went for that. Someone asked me, how did I discover solid black work, or black arms, seeing as they are quite unique? For me, I know a lot of people with solid black tattoos because a lot of my friends are in the tattoo industry or in the body modification industry, and I've seen a lot of black work and black arms. I remember when I was on BME back in the day, I didn't really like black arms because a lot of piercers got their arms tattooed with like the piercer's arm, which was just like, they had crappy work and they covered it in black, and I didn't really like it for a long, long time. And then I have a friend called Alice, Alice of the Dead, and she is this really gorgeous woman. She's a tattoo artist, a very talented tattoo artist, and she's really, really beautiful, and she's really, really small, and she's really feminine. And she has solid black arms, and she has a lot of black all over her body. I remember when I first met her in Oslo at the SOSCON, I was like, whoa, that looks beautiful. Like, I remember looking at her black arm and just thinking, that looks really, really sexy and really feminine, but really serious. I just loved the vibe and the energy of the black. And because that was the first time I saw black work as sexy and feminine, you know, and I just remember looking at her, and that definitely was the start of thinking, I'm gonna black my arm, you know, as soon as I had that moment with her. And then as I said, I tried to like rework it a little bit first, and I was just like, eh. So people have asked, who is the artist that has done the black arm? It was Jarkko Forsmandi in Paradise Tattoo and Piercing in Helsinki. And Jarkko is actually not a black work tattoo artist per se. When I first met him, he was doing like a lot of old school. He was very good at that, and nowadays he's doing a lot of photorealism and portraits. He actually did the Frankenstein on my lower leg. But Jarkko's my friend, and I kind of was like, please do the black for me. I really wanted it done, and I knew he would do a good job. And this kind of goes into the next question about how many sessions it's had done, because a lot of people are surprised to hear that I've only had one session on the whole arm. One session on the lower half and one session on the top half. Even people who have black work themselves, or even tattoo artists, are shocked that it's only had one session, because it's really, really solid and it looks really solid. It definitely needs another session or two. There's a few little areas that need going over, and I want to cover the roses as well. But yeah, only one session, and it only took 6 hours. People are always really surprised to hear that it was only 3 hours for here and 3 hours for here. So yeah, just one session. That's the value of having a good tattoo artist who knows how to work the ink, because there is a technique to solid black. Even if you're not covering anything up, even if you're just putting in black, to get the color even and to have it heal evenly, it needs to all be in the same level under the skin, and it has a technique to it. So definitely you need to have a good artist who can actually do that. So thank you, Jarkko, you're fucking awesome. People asked if it hurt any more than other tattoos. A lot of people kind of assume that like, oh, that must have been so badass, and like, I mean, yes, it uses like a really giant needle, and there's a lot of skin being covered in each swipe, but as far as hurting more than other tattoos, I think it actually hurt less. One being because it's my arm, and arms are generally the least painful part of your body, except for like maybe lower legs, and also because